record to start us. Okay. Welcome. My name is Chanel. I'm the immediate past president of Fresno City Toastmasters, and currently I'm our vice president of education for the club. And I'm going to start our meeting off today by reading the Fresno City Toastmasters mission statement. This is actually the mission of Toastmasters International and also the mission of all the clubs individually. So our purpose is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which our members are empowered to better develop their communication and leadership skills, which results in greater self-confidence and personal growth. So those are the two things that we focus on here at Toastmasters: leadership and communication, specifically public speaking, and being to grow in what your individual goals are in both of those areas. I hope that everybody had a good New Year and Christmas celebration and everything. I know that for those of us who are on the board, which would be me and Sarah and Denny, we have a couple of officer trainings coming up. I know that I didn't make the last one. Did either of you make it? I know, right? So I saw that Joey sent out an email yesterday that they're going to have another one one this month in January and another one in February that we can try to make if possible. So let's make sure before we officially get the meeting started that we have everybody is here who's on the agenda. And I'm supposed to be doing the word of the day. Wonderful. I didn't even notice that.
You have a minute to figure it out while I take over, right?
Yes, except my phone is over there. So, okay, I'll figure out something. And Sarah, you're going to be Toastmaster. Denny, you're so good to be evaluator. I'm going to do table topics. Fran, you're going to do timer.
Yes.
Okay, looks like we have everybody down then. And we have 3 guests joining us today, so I'll just go ahead and have our 2 guests in person. You can introduce yourself for the people on Zoom, and then Christine, if your connection is coming in okay, you can introduce yourself to everybody as well. So just say your name and maybe how you heard about Toastmasters or what your interest is.
My name is Missy, and I heard about Toastmasters probably 20 years ago from a friend who came to the US and was wanting to practice English. And so she joined Toastmasters and talked highly of it. And we have a guest visiting from Colombia for a few weeks, Camila. And so we were looking for ways to help her with that. Her English, she's here for learning English, and we're looking for things to get her good practice. I'm going to check into Toastmasters.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Internationally.
I remember that too. I told her it's international.
Yes, yeah, it is. So I'm sure they have close.
We have one of those rooms that's from Bulgaria a couple of times too. So
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think we've had somebody join from China before, or somewhere in Asia. Okay. So that's one of the nice things also about the Zoom, because it's the hybrid meeting, so people can join from anywhere. Yes, well, welcome to our club and to California.
thank you.
And then Christine, is your connection coming in okay right now? Oh.
Yeah.
I think it's a little spotty.
Here.
Oh, all right. Okay, if she comes back, we'll give her the chance to introduce herself, but she's also a guest joining us today. Okay, with that, I will introduce our Toastmaster for today to officially kick off our meeting. So please welcome Sarah to the podium.
And my computer's up if you want to go get a word of the day.
Sarah.
You're welcome. Hi. Well, the theme for today is New Year's resolutions. I'm not a huge resolution person, not a big fan of those, but I always think it's a really nice time to start fresh because you get to all the things that happened this last year, you get to evaluate it and be able to start and think, what are the things that like, hey, this went well and I'd like to continue doing that? Or what are the things that maybe didn't go so well and I could do that differently and do it better? And so I think that applies a lot with our speaking as well. As we go on and we learn and we grow, it's just all part of growth. We get a fresh start because it's time to evaluate. I think is the time I like the best, is that just the evaluation time. So being able to evaluate what is it that we've done well in our speaking and engagements and what did we not do well. I think there's a couple of things I look back on this past year. I'm like, I did not practice that as much as I should have, and it went really horribly. And I just thought, oh, well, I go to Toastmasters, we speak on the fly all the time and I can do this. And yeah, nope, got too arrogant, I think, on that one. So not being able, so putting those kind of things in check and being able to continually improve ourselves is what I love about this. I'm going to call up our general evaluator, Miss Denny Mason. She's on the screen over there. Denny, take it away.
You would laugh if you knew all the things on this side. My phone falling over, etc. Okay, today I'm gonna introduce our evaluation team, and evaluation is part of what we do in Toastmasters. It's the fun part of what we do in Toastmasters, aside from getting past the nerves of doing a speech and all of that. We work as a team to get better. I'm going to introduce, first of all, our grammarian. Are you ready, Chanel, or shall we move on?
Give her a minute. Yeah, I'll take
Let's go to our counter, who is back to you, Sarah.
Ooh, counter. This is my favorite one. I love doing the counter. It is the time where you get to practice hearing like all the different crutch words that we use when we get too nervous and we speak too fast, or we use the crutch words or and so instead of doing that, learning to take a breath and silent. I've had to reduce mine significantly. It's still a work in progress. It's exciting though. But this is a time, and a lot of times like when she said a positive experience, it is supposed to be a positive experience, but it's also part of the evaluation. So we're not here to go, you messed up. It's, hey, let's point this out so that you know these are happening, because a lot of times we just keep on speaking and we don't always realize that these, we're, like that. So when I say, in between, you're like, what am I going to say? So it's just an opportunity to be able to check yourself and be able to make it better so that when the words that you're presenting are better for those around us. So I will check those and I will report back at the end. Back to you, Denny.
Perfect. Thank you, Sarah. And I think we all have to gear up for the new year. We've been out of practice for a little while.
Yes.
That's okay. We'll get warmed up. Did Corinne arrive?
Yep, Corinne's here.
Great.
Yep.
Corinne, are you prepared to be the timer today?
Yes, I am.
Okay. We're going to introduce Corinne.
My name is Karen Kitenjian, and I'm the timer today. Usually when we have table topics or speeches, we put a time on it, like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, or 2 minutes by agreement. Today, we don't have speeches, but we might have table topic discussions. So would we putting 2 minutes on each speech for table topics?
1 to 2 minutes.
1 to 2 minutes. So how this machine works, it shows you the progress of your timing. Basically, when 1 minute is passed, I'll show you red. So you would know that you have another minute to talk. And then yellow, which by the way shows with red, don't pay attention. Just look at yellow, says that it's already 1.5 minutes. You have only half a minute to finish your speech. And then red, it means you're done. So past that, basically this is not a contest. So if you're past 2 minutes, which a lot of us are doing on a habitual basis, that's fine. But it kind of gives you an opportunity to express your thought within a certain time constraint, because in a forum, you might be reduced to 20 minutes of speech, 5 minutes of speech, or even a 2-minute argument in front of a board where you're just trying to put a message across, but it should be precise and to the point and short, because there are like hundreds of speakers lined up behind you. Imagine the setting. So therefore, a 2-minute speech means that the topic is given and you have to do your best effort in order to give all of your arguments on the topic within 2 minutes. And then the next speaker is coming to the podium, and then the next. They're also limited by the minutes. Thank you.
And next, we have Chanel with the word of the day.
All right, I'm ready now. So I'm going to be our grammarian today. Every week we pick a word of the day, and that's a word that we try to integrate into our conversation. I believe the club a few years ago used to have a jar that if you didn't say the word of the day, you had to put a quarter in or donate something. And we haven't actually been doing that, but that's kind of the spirit of it, that if we try to encourage ourselves not to forget to use it. So our word of the day today is going to be ecstatic, and I will put it in the chat for those of you who are on Zoom, and then as soon as I'm done here, I will write it on the whiteboard for those of us who are here in person. So let me type. Ecstatic is of, relating to, or characterized by ecstasy or a state of sudden, intense, overpowering emotion. Usually in our cultural context, it's used to describe a state of extreme happiness, some kind of bliss, overpowering excitement, that kind of thing. So an example could be, I was ecstatic to see my friend because I hadn't seen her in over a year. Or I was ecstatic to attend the concert to see my favorite musician, or something like that, where you're very excited. So we'll go ahead and integrate that word into our conversation. And then at the end of the meeting, I will give a report of who has used the word. It's for you guys. All right. And then Sarah will come back up, and I think she's going to reintroduce me.
Oh, well, Denny, you get to be Zoom. You're going to introduce Zoom Master. Oh, yeah, it's for you again.
Yeah.
Come back.
The Zoom Master is really just making sure that the meeting gets recorded, and then if anybody is giving a speech, we pinpoint and highlight them, and then, as I said earlier, put the videos on YouTube so that we can go back and watch ourselves, which can be a useful part of practicing. Like if you give a speech, it's good to watch a recording of yourself so that you can see what you can improve and work on. And then also other people will go on our YouTube channel if they're curious about Toastmasters sometimes and watch our videos. So this will be recorded, and later today we'll make sure that that gets uploaded. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I don't think you get to go very far, but go ahead, Denny. Did you want to finish up?
Exactly. I think we're going straight over to table topics. Is that right?
Yes, I get to introduce our table topics master. Yes. So
Yeah.
Chanel's got triple duty today. She's acting as president. She is doing the grammarian, and she is also a table topics master. Normally this would be the time where we have the speeches, any prepared speeches, but nobody had signed up for any prepared speeches today. So we're going to go straight into table topics. And that is the time where we get to practice extemporaneous speaking. And so the extemporaneous speaking is just last minute. So you'll be posed with a question, and then you can be able to come back up, and she'll explain that a little bit more, but she's working on getting the word up there. Are you ready? You ready? Okay, I can keep filling in if you need me. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm not sure why I'm signed up for all these roles. I blame Joey. Joey's our president. He's not here today. I think he filled out the agenda. So if you want to see how the word of the day is spelled, it's on the board right there, so you can remember ecstatic. We are now going to move into our table topics portion of the meeting. Usually we would have a speech now, but there's nobody prepared to give a speech today since it's kind of after the holidays and stuff. So we're just going to be doing our table topics, and that's the extemporaneous portion of Toastmasters where we practice speaking on the fly without preparation. I'm going to pose a couple of topics, and then we will all take turns coming up, and you'll get to choose which question you want to answer, and you'll have 1 to 2 minutes to answer it. Corinne will be on the timer there to help keep us within the 1 to 2 minute time frame. And usually people will volunteer. If nobody's volunteering to come up, the table topics master can call on people and volunteer them.
And our guests have to go first, right?
Yeah, no. Guests, actually, you don't have to go. If you want to go, you're more than welcome, but there's not any obligation. So that's up to you. So you can watch some of us go and see if you feel comfortable. But it's, as you can see, it's a pretty small group, so not too much pressure. So I'm going to pose 2 questions today, and you can choose kind of which and how you want to answer it. We usually leave room for some interpretation with our table topics questions. Since today is January 3rd, obviously the new year is what a lot of us have on our mind right now. So my first question is, how do you feel about New Year's resolutions? Is that something that you usually participate in? If so, would you like to share maybe a resolution you've made this year or in years past? If not, why don't you participate? And then another question that's kind of a spin-off of that, which is a question that I prefer, is do you have any goals for this year, for 2023? Is there anything that you're looking to accomplish? It could be something really, it could be big, like a professional goal, or it could be even something small, like I want to try a new food, or I want to try this new activity for the first time. So anything across those spectrums. Do you make New Year's resolutions? If so, why? If not, why not? And then you can also answer, what is a goal or something that you want to accomplish or do in 2023? Give everybody a few seconds to think about it. Would anyone like to volunteer to go first? Denny is volunteering. Let's go.
I don't have New Year's resolutions. I figure if I was going to do something, I'd be doing it already. However, last year, because my granddaughter was going to private Catholic school, there was the 40 days before Easter, Lent, they were giving something up for that. And I decided I would participate in that. And it was kind of like, it's not a New Year's resolution, but it's a decision to do something that I wouldn't normally do. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm ecstatic about red hot tamale candy. I have it with me all the time. I love it. So it was something that I decided to give up, not for the whole year, only 40 days. And it was a huge challenge for me, and I did it. This year, I've decided, because that was successful last year, I'm going to add on to it and do something a little bit further. I guess in a New Year's resolution sort of way, it's a decision to participate in something that I didn't do before. What I did last year was I took my whole stack of red hot tamales, and knowing that my granddaughter's teacher had that as her favorite candy, I gave one to her every week during the 40 days of Lent, which she appreciated a great deal. And she couldn't even believe that. She said, I can't believe that you gave that up. And I was very grateful for Lent to be done and grab my first box of candy right after Easter. Thank you.
Thank you, Denny, for sharing. And I'm sure that you were, I like that alarm. Wow, it's like the alien ghost sound. I'm sure. I'm sure that you felt ecstatic when you were able to grab your red hot tamales and finally eat them. You are. She makes fun of me for this because Denny likes very spicy food, and I'm a wimp and I can't handle anything spicier than mild, unfortunately. All right, Sarah or Corinne, would you like to go next? Okay.
Just push on start and I just go over the sounds. Thank you. Well, I'm certainly not ecstatic about New Year's resolutions because I always felt that I'm breaking them right during the first 2 months into the resolution. This year, I made the resolution to fulfill all of my past resolutions because there are a lot of unfulfilled resolutions from the past, like balancing act. And number 1 on my list is to finally publish my book. Number 2 on my list to put my business into order the way I want to see it. And number 3 is to just be happy and ecstatic about life, because I do believe that we are too much involved into the nitty-gritty of it, and sometimes we forget about a lot of main things like family, children, friends. So that's what I'm thinking about at this point. And I do believe that resolutions are good as some guiding point, but you shouldn't be fanatical about it. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Sarah, would you want to go ahead?
Well, like I said before, I'm not a big fan of resolutions, but I definitely have one goal. There's probably more, but this is my number 1, is timeliness. Especially at work, there's all these emails and things that come through, and when the emails come through, I think about them for a little bit, like, oh, I should get back to that, and I never get back to it, or I get back to it, like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to answer that like 3 or 4 days later, and so then by that time it feels like it's lapsed, and then and it goes down that rabbit hole of that. And so being able to be more timely and be able to answer within 24 hours, to be able to get out the letters that I need to get out on time. So there's like newsletters and different things, different responsibilities that I have at work that when my mind, like, I love doing it, is absolutely exciting, but then my mind just kind of starts to wander, and then I'm like, oh, well, then I get distracted on this and get distracted on that. So I think one of my absolute biggest goals is to make sure that emails and those communications that come in are answered within 24 to 48 hours of the time that if not immediately, but just really try to be more intentional about that, because I think it's super respectful, and it's something that I've learned from other people already. That's great. There's something that I've learned from other people. Like, I really appreciate it when I get an email back response like really quickly so that it can get taken care of. And I want to learn from those people who do that, because I think it's super respectful and really neat just to be able to get it taken care of. And then I don't have to keep worrying about it, and then I won't get overwhelmed with all those things. So that is my number 1 goal this year, timeliness. Thanks.
That is always a good goal. One of mine should probably be to be on time and not be chronically 3 minutes late to everything. Yikes. I will go ahead and answer one of my own questions. I'm also not a big fan of the concept of New Year's resolutions. I think to me it sounds very big and absolute. I think one of the biggest mistakes that can be made when making any sort of life change is the all or nothing mentality. So often I see people who say, oh, this year I'm going to get into shape. That's my resolution. I'm going to exercise more. And so they'll say, I'm going to get up every morning at 6 a.m. and go to the gym. Well, if you're going from a lifestyle of not exercising to I'm going to get up every day and exercise, it's quite a difficult transition. And I think perhaps that is responsible for a lot of people not making it throughout the entire year. So my personal philosophy is to not bite off more than I can chew and make goals that are very attainable and easily winnable for myself. So for example, the past couple of years, I've been reading some of the classic books that I never read when I was younger and in school. And so for this year, one of the things that I put on my goal list is that I want to read seven books, not 100 books, not 50. I want to read 7 books. That's less than 1 per month. And it might not seem like any great or lofty goal, but it's something that is attainable for me. And I want them all to be books that I enjoy and I'm going to look forward to reading. And so my goals for 2023 more so follow that format. Things that are attainable, that I want to do and will look forward to doing, but that are also in some way beneficial as well. Thank you. Okay, and now you are welcome to go if you want to, but you also don't have to. Missy and Camila. Come up and then I'll shake your hand.
I like the second question. So I have one goal for this year, and is I want to have more concentration for my studies or my university. Because the last semester I didn't be concentrated. I don't know. Yes, yes, focus in my studies, and it's all.
Thank you. Very good, very good. So how long have you been in California?
2 more weeks. How long have you been? 3 weeks.
You've been here for 3 weeks, and are you going to stay till summer or
2 weeks more.
2 more weeks? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so it's just like a month and a half kind of span. Okay, very cool. All right, well, that's everybody. So that will be the end of our table topics time. So I will call back up our general evaluator, who is Miss Denny, to call up the evaluation team to give their reports.
Good job, everybody. We're going to get our timer report. Corinne?
Yes. Everybody was on time. Danny, 1 minute, 58 seconds, just about the right timing. Sarah, 1 minute, 28 seconds, very good. I was 1 minute, 12 seconds. Chanel, 1 minute, 40 seconds. And Camilla, 43 seconds, which is good. Yeah, Camilla is the winner today. Just with not even a minute, but everything was laid out correctly. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Corinne. Next, we have our counter report, and that's from Sarah.
Thank you. I think we did pretty good today. So I am ecstatic that everybody is improving on their crutch words and their use of the crutch words. You had a couple of uhs and a well to start it off, but not too big a deal, just a couple here and there. Chanel, so is still your favorite, and a lot of in between a lot of the transitions, there's the so. I even caught myself with a so and a I'm sure there was more, but that's all that I caught. Steven wasn't here. Denny, you had a couple of uhs, and the tisk on when we can hear it through the speaker, it comes off a lot more loudly and a lot more. If you're just in person, you don't hear it quite as much, but especially if you're doing anything like with the speakers, then pay more attention to the in-betweens stuff. And Camila, I only had one for you. That was fantastic. And 43 seconds, I can sit, that's amazing. The first time I got up, I think I was up there for 13 seconds. Like, okay, hi, bye. Okay. So great job, Camila. It's wonderful. And back to you, Denny.
Thank you, Sarah. Chanel's going to give us our grammarian report.
Yes. So our word for today was ecstatic. Denny, you used it in reference to the red hot tamales. Corinne, you used it to say you're not ecstatic about New Year's resolutions. I used it, I believe, in comment to Denny's table topic. And I didn't catch you. Did you say it?
You did in the very last thing.
You did in your very last thing.
That I was ecstatic how well people.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. You just, okay. I wasn't paying close attention. So good job. And then I didn't hear you say it, so I just wanted to check that I didn't mishear. Okay, totally good. I am notorious for forgetting to use the word. Probably about 50% of the time I forget. And I've been in Toastmasters for like almost 3 years now.
Joey is the absolute master at word of the day.
Joey's very good. He uses it every time. Yes. Okay. I will, Denny, you can give your.
Thank you,
overall-
Chanel.
Yes.
Yes, we had a good meeting today. I'm glad to see everybody coming back. We'll look forward to seeing Joey next week. And we were able to pull off the rolls. Our meeting will be a little bit shorter today because we were just down to table topics, but good job, everybody. We will get warmed up on this meeting and we should be perfect by next week.
Yes.
I'll turn this back over to our president, Chanel.
I'm not the president anymore, but
Aren't you
filling
president?
Immediate past president.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes.
Thank you. Cool. Well, I think just to wrap it up, if you guys have any feedback or questions or comments just about how our meetings go and or about your experience or anything like that. And if not, that's okay too, no pressure.
How many people usually attend? Is it fairly small like this, or?
It is now pre-COVID, we had probably like 20, 25 people, and I think consistently maybe 15 to 20 would show up if I remember correctly. And then through COVID, we just kind of lost lots of people, and then we lost our place to meet, which was downtown. And so we finally just got established here. So it's nice to have a consistent place to be able to meet.
Yes.
Camille, I have a question. What subjects or major are you studying?
Industrial engineering.
Mhm.
What kind of engineering?
Industrial.
Oh, industrial. Oh, I think so this year.
And did you have that in your home country or did you change your major here?
No.
You started doing engineering at your home country?
Yes.
So you're at Fresno State? Or-
You're just here visiting for 5 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah. she's
Okay,
staying. No, you're not, are you doing school while you're here?
No.
Oh,
Okay, got it.
So she is my sister-in-law's husband's niece, and he asked if we had a family that we know that she could come and spend 5 weeks with to practice English, to immerse herself in English. So she's staying with a family that does not speak Spanish, and so she's getting lots of practice at speaking, which is the hardest part of learning a new language, which
Right.
I'm sure any of you who've learned a new language would know that.
Oh, I was in her shoes when I arrived.
Yes, and speaking is the most difficult part. So,
Because you know the language, you know the grammar, but you need really the environment, contextual usage, communication. Yeah. But reading helps a lot. Actually, you have a resolution to read, but reading in English, especially some topics or subjects which are too close to your heart, not like professional literature, but like novels or history books, it really helps a lot to improve your language.
Mm-hmm. Is this your first visit to California?
Yes.
Yes. What can you think of one thing that you've noticed that's different about here than at home?
The culture.
The culture,
Yes.
is in what ways do you think it's different? Or like what's just something specific that you noticed?
Maybe at Christmas.
Oh, the Christmas celebration. Yeah, that makes sense. What's a traditional Christmas celebration look like in Colombia?
In Colombia, we open the gift at midnight.
Oh, you stay up till midnight, open the gift. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what did you do here on Christmas Eve?
Yes. Here, you open the gift at 25 in the morning. It's different.
Yeah. So you have to wait longer.
That kind of gives us the opportunity not to explain how Santa brought the gifts, right, for the kids.
Mm.
Do you like Santa?
Who brings the gifts in Colombia? Santa
Yes.
or
Parents.
oh, okay, but the first gift that I got from my husband, who's Colombian, the Christmas gift, said, instead of saying from Santa, it said from baby Jesus. Yeah. So sometimes people say baby Jesus instead of Santa.
Oh, sweet. Cool. All right. I don't think that I have any other announcements. I said the thing about the officers training at the beginning of the meeting, so we'll be on the lookout for that. Next week, our theme is going to be National Cut Your Energy Cost Day. That sounds exciting, Joey. So those of us who are going to be here next week, who can volunteer for roles, Sarah, Corinne, Denny, are you guys all planning on attending? Okay,
What day is
the 10th next Tuesday, yeah. And I will be here so I can put myself in as Toastmaster.
I'll do the grammarian
Okay,
for the day. And I can be the Toastmaster if you want.
oh, okay, I just wrote myself in for Toastmaster. Do
okay.
you want to do General Evaluator?
No,
No.
I'll stick with accountant and grammarian.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you, Sarah. And Denny? Do you have a preference? You want to do General Evaluator? You did that today, didn't you? We're gonna make you do that again. You want to do Toastmaster and I'll be General Evaluator?
And we'll have Joey do timer.
Okay, yeah. All right. I will send a picture of this to Joey. All right, any other questions, comments, criticisms, complaints before we adjourn the meeting?
That was a positive experience. We're not gonna be complaining about anything.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you, Sarah.
House coming up, right?
Can you say that again? You cut out a little bit.
Sorry, we have an open house coming up.
We do. Do you remember what day that is supposed to be?
Wasn't it 13? Or,
I was thinking it was at the end of the month.
I don't know. So, yeah,
The 24th in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I have it on my calendar, but my phone is over there, so I can't look.
Okay. Well, we'll address it next week, but it's coming up.
Okay, yeah, coming up on the 24th, so we'll need to be
Mhm.
prepared for that. Thank you for that reminder.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I will officially adjourn the meeting then.
Good to see you all.